The topic this time is that whole I am bit. Not referring to that which is God. I am not talking about that. I did not create existence, reality, life, or myself, my being. So, I am not that which is God. So therefore, I am not making that claim. I'm saying that right now before anybody's panties get in a bundle. Why has he got to be over here with that? But these are just 10 inquiries into the whole I am bit. And I am only expressing from my own being, experience, understanding. I am not dictating anything towards anyone or for anyone else. I am just speaking from my being, and that is all. Anything else is not my intentions. I got no intentions other than to hit record, speak from my being as an example of it. One, when I say I am I describing a thing or the ongoing reality of being? And I just said what that is. It is this singular existence and awareness of me. There's no other way I could put it. I am aware of more. I am aware of me that is not the tangible body. I am aware of the driver within that is observing everything, that is everything happening. I am aware of the intangible driver of this. That's as simple as I can put it. Aware of my singularity, of the underlying constants that has never changed, of me, my being, since 3 years old. Since my first moment of awareness, it wasn't from here. It was from here, looking outward, bringing everything inward, not filtered through physicality. I've always been looking at everything and aware of everything from I exist, and then there's what's everything else. I am a human being here in all of this, but the singular existence of me is the one doing all of this, speaking, expressing right now. I am not only speaking as I am speaking. I am internalizing everything before I am even speaking, as I'm speaking. I am doing far more internally than I can ever hope to speak, even as I'm speaking right like this. There is far more going on deeper than intelligence than I could physically think, even than what can come out of my mouth. I gotta get a different seat. And that singularity of me has been the same me since 3 years old. Always internal first, outward. It's like that is I am, because it doesn't freaking change. It's like, I grew, my body grew, my intelligence grew, even my deeper understanding grew, but the underlying me has never, ever changed. I'm just gonna move on from that one. That is, I might probably just answered a couple other questions before I even get to reading them. That is very dynamic to explain. There's so many different angles, and it's like, I'm moving on. 2, can I am ever become an object, or does it remain a process regardless of what I attach to it? All right, so I'm not going to, can I ever be, my being, my intangible being ever become an object, or does it remain a process regardless of what I attach to it? It doesn't change. I just said that. Can it ever become an object? I've already said that in many videos. I cannot. No, I'm not referring to my heart. I'm like my center of being. I can't. Here. Quite frankly, I wouldn't want that to come out anyway. I'm not going to go on that joke. Can it ever become an object? Yeah, right here. Hi. This is all I'm stuck with, okay? This is what I mean. Anybody who is internal, I mean deeper than intelligence, your being, anybody who is there, was there, goes there, however, see me, I started there. I don't have to work from the outside and go inward. I am inward working outward. That is how I've always been. I always assumed everyone else was doing the same thing, just not being open about it. 40 years. Can I am ever become an object? This is all you get. And this, if anybody is internally aware, this is nothing. I'm not saying I'm not claiming there's far more going on internally than physical expression allows. Far, far, far more. So, no, it can never become an object. And again, does it remain a process regardless of what I attach to it? Yeah, again, I'm 44 years old. It's been 41 and a half years since my initial moment of awareness of my being, looking outward at everything else. To put it as simple as I could, I was 3 years old. No, I wasn't, that was like, I was still just a kid. I know I wasn't aware 24/7, stuff like that. That's one moment that came online. No, I don't remember the next day, or I probably maybe remember 2 more memories. Yeah, I have no idea. See how much, like, there's spaces there where it was just unconscious function, unaware function. I don't remember every single day of my life. nor even as a child, was I completely aware and operating completely every single day either. It's like, well, what the heck was going on between, like I said, like, say, 3 years old, that initial event, and say, starting kindergarten? It's like, no, I was not aware every single moment of every single day between, like, say, those two things. No, I'm just saying that singular event is why I remember it. And I'm not saying, oh, it's only a memory. No, it was an event that, again, you just, like my wife, she'll say, like, oh, one day I just woke up one morning. And it's like, no, for me it was, like I said many times, just throwing an ice cream cone on a neighbor's porch and getting absolutely reamed for it and banned from her property for life. She said, forever. And I'm 3 years old. Probably I wasn't even sure if I was still in diapers or not. I don't remember. It's like that moment is when internal my being just came online, awareness, and just, what the fuck is all this? What the hell's going on here? That is when all the internal processes just came online. And the same being, the same awareness, the same has remained. The same me, the same being has simply, the foundation of me has remained since then. I am still exactly the same internal being as I was at 3 years old. It's just expanded. Again, in understanding, in awareness, experience, etc. Not physical growth, that's physicality. Obviously, I grow too. But yet, my being has never changed. My expressions have. My values have. Well, not really. My internal values have never changed either. You know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm literally just rambling on, explaining, expressing, but you know what? I'm not. That just annoyed me because I don't want to keep doing that. Explain. Kiss my ass. Yeah. Can it ever become an object other than my physicality? You know what? That's a scary thought. Not for me though. 3, what changes when I move from I am this to simply I am? Again, I am this is a more layer of self-orientation. I am is just your baseline foundational state of being, the being that you are, the existence that you are, that is the influence, well, as far as I go, the influencer of this, the expressor within is my being. It is not my brain, it is not my intelligence. I am not thinking here. I am doing far more internally than my brain could fucking do the way they say it can. But then again, that's why they call it your intangible self, because they still don't know where that comes from and all that. I'm not claiming anything over anyone else. Just leave that the frick alone. It's like, again, I will speak however the F I want regarding my own existence. Me. I will say what I'm a chicken. Buck, 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 buck. Who the fuck are you to tell me otherwise? Pardon the language. I just get so annoyed how ignorant and projective people are. They hear one thing and they project their own nonsense, or think you're projecting your own nonsense when I'm just simply expressing my own nonsense. Not that it's nonsense, I don't care what the hell's called. And that's it. Yeah, I went too defensive over that real quick. Because I understand how people are. I know how they think everything's a projection, everything's spoken is trying to get into their little box that they like. No, you stay in your little box. I don't want to come in. I don't want to come in there and ruin whatever life, whatever understanding makes you happy within your own little anything. I don't like to have any box or any closet or any skeletons. I just get defensive because and aggravated because I understand how generally ignorant people are. And they will change something from somebody else. Like, here's a good one. I forgot about this because I haven't bitched about it lately. This is just a little nugget of digging. I will ask everybody this. How could anyone out there know my intentions of even expressing more than me, myself, my being? How could any of the receivers understand more of the expressor than the expressor himself? I'm pretty sure you could understand that even intellectually. You know how stupid that sounds to project? That's why I say when I am speaking of myself, my own being, it means I am aware of what I'm saying of myself, of my being. Therefore, do not project you know more of me than I know of myself. And yet people do that around me all the effing time. That is so annoying. Especially when you say it flat out like that. Like, they will take something the wrong way and then you will explain your intentions and they still won't understand. They'll still be stuck in their own projection. Like you say to somebody, I didn't mean it that way, and then you'll explain it and they're like, oh no, you meant it this way. It's like, so you know more of me than I know of myself? What? Like, my brain hurts even trying to make sense of that insanity. And yet, people do it around me all the effing time. It's actually, I understand, which is another topic I have saved to cover, ulterior motives. That is one thing I never carry. That is one thing I don't naturally carry around. I don't have ulterior motives because they hurt. They freaking hurt. They hurt my being. They disrupt my being to be manipulative in any way. Inspirational or positivity, that's different. Okay, let's move on. Yeah. That one had teeth. All right. Oh, wait. I didn't even completely answer. You know what? I'm just going to make that quick. What changes would I move from I am this to simply I am? That is that is an identity issue. Outsourcing the self. I don't operate from the self. My being is mine and mine alone. There is no outsourcing it. It doesn't change. It hasn't changed in 3 years old. So what I did, what could I even label that to even explain it? I am. That is the explanation. It's not an identity. It's I am. I am that I am. I've been me my entire life. That is I am. My singular existence. How could I am this. Yeah, I am this. I am a singular existence existing as a human being within physical reality. Within existence and in life and yada. So how, again, playing in societal categories, no. I don't play that game. I don't, suddenly I became again, motorcycle mechanic. I enjoy wrenching. I enjoy working on bikes. Is that who I am? No, that's one thing I enjoy. That's all. Even if that's what I do for a living every day to make money within the societal structure, that is not who I am. That is what I do. That is an interest, a fulfillment. And for me, even that enjoyment is not enough for my being. Because immediately what I'm thinking of is I would use that to enjoy more of life, of living. Not be fulfilled by one role and claim an identity around it and build. Again, if that's what authentically pleases anyone else, there is absolutely nothing negative I can say on authenticity. Authenticity is left aside by default by itself, because you cannot. Something authentic is absent of disruption. You cannot complain about authenticity. There's nothing there to complain about. So it's like me, just my entire life, living in existence, being fulfilled by one role and only one role of society, of culture, of human constructs. No, that is not me. That's one, living is such a process. There's so much going on to be chained down to one thing for me. No. I don't want to be a function of a construct. I just want to flow harmony and congruence with life and living. Doesn't matter if that's on the back of a garbage truck or under a truck or working on a bike. It's everything else. Those things are just one little tiny piece of this life. All right, you know what? I'm moving on. That was, half hour. 4. Is my identity an object within experience, while I am is the process experiencing it? Excuse me. Again, what's identifying oneself? I exist. I am. That's not an identity. That's identifying myself or others. I exist. That's it. How do I identify myself in any way? Like foundationally? Like, how do I name all that I am? I am that I am. I exist. And then everything else on top of it. I exist. I exist within physical reality. I exist as a human being. I exist as male. That is how I've always been. Foundational, outward. So again, is my identity an object within experience? While I am is the process experiencing. Oh. And is I don't have an identity. I don't want a freaking role. An object within experience. Okay, yeah. Now I'm just looking at it like, is my job, is my societal job an object within experience? Yes. Not identity, but is a specific function an object within experience? Yes. Again, no different than being on the back of a garbage truck, sitting behind a desk, or underneath a lift. Those are a role objects within experience, because they are being experienced continuously. While I am is the process experience. Yes, I am is the process experiencing it. It is the constants of me that's been here aware for 41 and a half years that is experiencing it all. And these are just randomly generated questions. I don't generate these. I don't come up with, there's a topic of inquiry. If I need doorways, questions to express on them, then I generate questions. If not, I take a topic and I just hit record. If there's a lot to express on something, then I will have inquiries generated to more easily express on something than to sit here contemplating on every tiny little detail I can on the subject and rambling and rambling and rambling and rambling. 5, what remains constant within me while everything else changes? The foundation of me, my being. Again, what remains, it's intangible. See, this is what I hate about this kind of crap, because I'm starting to think of what remains constant, like as if I have an example to give other than I am, I exist. If it's like sorry that no, I'm not going to apologize. It's like, yeah, that's just what I'm aware of within my own being, my own singular existence. So, what remains constant within me while everything else changes? It's just the same, like I said, the same thing, the same I am. Again, I didn't create even that, so I don't know what the F it is. There's so many different words for it we have, and so many, every single category of human constructed understanding of life, reality, and existence. Again, my being, my spirit, my consciousness, etc. And, but that's at the halfway mark. I gotta go to the bathroom. That'll be a quick, just ease up a little bit. Oh, this is a good one. A good topic. Get me going. Okay. Number 6. Have I been observing? Damn it. Excuse me. Have I been observing I am as a living process my entire life without realizing it? No. Again, that's why I call it life, existence, everything, reality, where some of everything is. Again, physical reality is that it is. It is one aspect of existence, life, the animator of everything, the process of everything, the however you want to put it. Without life, everything would just be stagnant, unmoving, just, what would be, if you think about it, if you got existence, and then you got reality as the localization of it, again, a construct. Again, nature is a system of reality. I'm talking about reality, the system itself. What would that be if there was no movement, no animator, no nothing, just I'm looking that way because I'm not going to sit here and stare at myself on a screen. There's nothing over there but my front door. I'm not paying attention to my eyes at all. But I'm not going to sit here and look at myself. That's just creepy. I don't want to talk to myself. I'm literally just expressing out loud. And to look at myself and be talking to myself. and I'm not making any attempt. I'm not making any intentions of expressing to an audience, sitting here talking to a camera, it creates a process of intention. I'm intending to speak to an audience when I am simply hitting record and speaking out loud, knowing what I'm going to do with the video, but that's not my intentions of it. That is an afterthought. I'm just simply documenting my thoughts out loud, expressing out loud to thin air while making record of it, and I just happen to just put that online. Sometimes I get, again, intentional when I have to explain something because I know where this is going, but that's not the primary function. No more deviating. Have I been observing I am as a living process my entire life without realizing it? No. Everything that is harmonizing, congruent, and authentic with being, and what is not, what is disruptive, etc., negative, that has been the living process of being my entire life. It's like I remain, but the influences change, everything changes, there's always a process, everything's always moving. Obviously, we're not living in a still painting. There's movement here. It's a process. Nothing's stagnant. Because again, remove life and it becomes stagnant. Then what is even there? I don't know. Because it's like, well, if there's no, again, call it vibrations even. There's always movement. If everything's stagnant, then it's like, well, what's there? Because everything has a function, a process of movement. Again, nothing is as it is and is completely worthless of existing. Everything has a function, a purpose, a process, a movement, etc. So removing that, there'd be no purpose or point of anything even being. So what would be there? I don't know, because I said what would be there within existence and reality without any life. But then if existence and reality is there, then well, what would be there? I don't know. Because nothing is the absence of everything. Nothing is the absence of existence and reality and life. So how could those, yeah. So I'm just saying that's why I'm not saying nothing would be present, because existence and reality is still present. I just removed life from the equation and the movement of it. What would be there? I have no idea. Because it can't be nothing, or else there is literally nothing. But I'm trying to look at it with 2 out of the 3. But that's why. I'm sorry. You remove one, and then the rest fall. That's the thing. Remove life, and there is no reality. There is no existence. Remove any one of those 3, and all 3 are gone. That's the way I see it. That's the way I understand it. I don't give a shit if I'm right or wrong. I'm open to correction, but not conflict. There you go. Not really correction. I'm open to information. Authentic information. Not ego, not freaking all that crap. All right, moving on. Because these are difficult to express clearly. Where I even have an inclination of it being understood. Oof. 7, why does I am feel alive when labels and identities feel stationary? Because again, orientation towards life. Everything else, again, you have my existence, my awareness of my singular existence. The I am, I exist. And then there's everything else. I didn't create anything. I created absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Everybody changes things, alters things, but nobody creates something from nothing. Therefore, I didn't create anything. So, labels and identities are just confining it down stationary. It's like, I own this screwdriver. I created the screwdriver. This is mine. That's stationary. So what? What's the big deal of that? And? Or, I am this screwdriver. And? That's all? That's all you got? No, the life is the process, the function. What can you do with it? How does it work? What's its process, its function? That's what feels alive. You know, this just sitting here in midair, not doing anything, what's the point of it at all? It might as well not even be there at all. That is the way I see it. Again, labels, identities, why they feel stationary, because they are. To me, it's stupid. Life, all this, even humanity created constructs of understanding and functions are not stationary. It's a process. 8. If my thoughts, emotions, roles, and circumstances change, what exactly is the I am that remains present through them? The observer, the awareness, and the foundation of being, of my existence, it is the thing that remains. It's the constants that has always been the existence of me, my being. It's my own singularity, my own singular constants that has not changed even in all of this movement of life and all that it entails. Now that is one hell of a hole to dig. Shit. Everything is movement, everything is constant, everything is processing, everything is constant, nothing's stationary. Even this whole planet is flying through space, everything else is moving, and yet, everything is flowing, and yet there is that underlying, constant, unchanging being that is me, my existence. It has been, it's like as if it's stationary, unchanging, and just going through all of this movement, all of this life, reality, and existence. How is that? How the hell is that? Localization surrounded by movement. It's like one thread, unchanging line of thread going through it all this movement, all of its moving, all of its operating, all of its functioning, all of its processing, everything's happening. And yet there's this single thread that just goes and doesn't change, doesn't alter, is just constant. Your being. It's like that the influence and the expression changes. Understanding grows, understanding changes, but the foundation never does. To name it as simple as possible. The foundation of my existence has never changed. It's grown, But the underlying foundation has never changed. This is me having fun, by the way. I'm not joking. This is enjoyable for me. Like internal puzzle pieces. Understanding and digging is internally in my being. It's, again, I could sit here and intellectually think. If I even try to do it this long, I will get exhausted. I will get a headache. It will have physical effects. But I could sit here and contemplate all day. There will be no physical effects. There will be no draining. Unless I let it influence me in that way. But otherwise, I'm just like, it's so much fun. But what allows the unchanging singular existence of the individual existence to remain surrounded by movement and changing and processes and, again, the flow of existence. Call it flow of time, but no, it's the flow of existence, reality, and life. Time is just the tool to measure it. All right, you know what? That was cool, but I don't want to sit here with that too long. That is cool, though. No, that's not something I want to sit here in the middle of something else already and dig. That's not really something. That's not that obvious where I could even early answer that. That's something to sit with, like even just having the back of your contemplation in like the background process, like for like days. Like, wait, what? Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. No, moving on. I don't know if my thoughts, emotions, roles, and circumstances change. What exactly is the I am that remains present through them? What exactly is it? It's my existence, but exactly what that is, I don't freaking know. Because that is cool as shit now. Because like everything else is always moving. There's always a process. There's always happenings. And yet, the foundation of my own being is just the singularity, unchanging observer and expressor. So, what exactly is the I am that remains present through them? I don't know. I didn't create myself. Only the creator of existence itself can answer that for me. For me. I don't care, like last week, I don't care if aliens, angels, and demons show up and anything at all and says we created humanity. So what? You created physicality within this reality. Creating existence within existence or so on that's beyond humanity or stupid aliens, angels, and demons or any other imaginary or any construct of understanding of what else is out there. Whatever. Moving on. Again, this is this is a weird one. This is like, I don't know, get like sideswiped. I was not ready for this to come out, this kind of video. I just thought this was going to be, I don't know, just not all over the place like this. 9 is I am something I possess, or it is the very process through which I participate in existence. It is not a possession. Because a possession is secondary. Again, Screwdriver went flying. Again, how could I be the screwdriver while I'm holding the screwdriver? You get it? Is I am something I possess? No, it is my very being, my existence. How could I possess it? Wrench. It is that it is. This is I am too. The wrench is I am, not I am. It's as if the damn wrench could talk, it would say I am because it's authentically being itself. I am authentically being myself. That is not something I possess. That is what I am. Or is it the very process through which I participate in existence? Yes. Except, again, except process isn't deep enough. Because it is not the process. Because it is the very constant, the unchanging that is doing the processing, initiating it. It's like, again, with this. Or is it the very process? See, again, a process is movement. I am internally intending to move the wrench, and my physicality is listening to me. Well, not like it's separate. I'm doing this. I'm doing all this on all layers, and yet the underlying being that I am is constant. It's not moving. The processes from there are the movement, are the process. I'm the initiator of the processes, but I am not a process myself. It is a constant. See what no, you know what? Damn it. That one's too, I don't get that fully. That is new territory right now, because I've never looked at it that way before. I've never looked at that angle of it before. Of everything is moving in some way, shape, or form. Everything is continuing. Nothing is stationary and stagnant. And yet, my very being is, and not. It's like I'm being influenced from the movement, from everything happening, and I am expressing it, participating, processing. I am the one receiving it and doing it, but it's like I'm just sitting here doing it. Like internally not moving and just getting dragged around. I want the ball, say internally, I want to go take a walk in the woods, enjoy some peace and tranquility, listen to the birds and stuff like that. My being doesn't move. My being makes my body move. My body, my being is just along for the ride. You see what that's like? It's like movement and stationary, and it's an angle I have not internalized before. That is not something I can sit here and just Here's an answer. Because I don't know. That's a cool freaking something to sit with now. So like I said, is it the very process through which I participate in existence? You know, it's the whole intangibility of it all that makes it such a pain in the butt. Because you have to internalize it all. You can't really write it down or make a physical example to help you out. It's like, yeah, like the screwdriver. Even if I throw it through the air, it's unchanging. Now, covered in husky hair. It doesn't matter what I do with the screwdriver. The screwdriver, unless it's destroyed, if you remove destroying it from the equation, no matter what I do with this screwdriver, it will always remain the same. That's the thing. It's like, here's your being flying through life, reality, and existence, and yet everything is moving, and yet that stays the same. Even this moving, and yet it... Watch this. Oh, it's still a screwdriver. It's still a screwdriver. Same analogy with your being. It's like, this could be doing the processing, but yet is it moving at all? No, it's being moved. It's... Yeah, you know what? I am expressing too much internalizing right now, and I don't know how that's going to look. I don't give a fuck how it looks to other people. I'm having fun. I have fun with that, just trying to figure stuff out like that. It's enjoyable. I'm sorry, I'm a weirdo, okay? I don't, everybody likes doing their own thing. This is my own thing. It's like, I hear about going within from the layer of self. It's like, people have hard enough time getting there. I've been in here the whole time having fun. That's my playroom. That's where I enjoy life. Well, from within. I don't have to go there and then experience more. I'm already there. So that's just me. Me being me. 10. What happens when I am is understood as a process rather than an object. I just covered that. It's both, actually. I'm talking about myself here, my being, my existence. It is both an object and a process. It is the object of I am, my existence, processing. Even though, again, object. And then what's the process? Whatever I do with it. Actually, same thing with my physicality. My being, my being, you know what, I'm not going to go there. But it's like, that's so weird. The constant, unchanging awareness of one's singularity, unchanging being, where it's, again, it's It's like a stationary object doing I can't I can't answer that because I think when I generated these questions, it was in a way that it was towards explaining I am, then explaining myself, then expressing from my being. What happens when I am is understood as a process rather than an object. Or that whole, no, because process and object is somewhat fresh to me. It's a new angle of something I have been doing all my life, operating with processes instead of objects. I care more about the process, whereas people be like they only care about the screwdriver, where I care about what it does, what it can do, what uses it has. Because if it's just sitting here, hey, a screwdriver, and that's it, might as well not be there at all. If there's no movement, there's no point. All right, I'm going to finish there because I really want to sit with this now. I really do. That is really cool. I don't know if that's just a pretzel right now or just something, I don't know, but it's caught my interest. So, all right, summarize. That was more of a live digging and explaining than explaining a singular point. Trying to think of a summary, but that would be going back and speaking on it exactly how I initially intended to 2 days ago when I generated questions on the topic of I am, copied them, pasted them in a notepad, and then left them there until I needed something that was relevant to the state of my environment and the state of my being to express on. Because again, if I'm in a negative state because my environment is negative or disruptive, I can't really authentically express on something in the opposition of that. Now, can I? Yeah, if I'm worked up and I want to express on something that is a negative topic and I want to be explosive, aggressive, and expressive on it, yeah. So, when I had these generated, it was different. It was a different angle of looking at it, I believe. But no, just summarize. It's no speciality. There is no reality bending or any dictating existence or reality and anything else with the whole I am bit. I am not God either. It's like, how could God express himself? He already has. Like a being and that which is God's, which is, again, I'm not opening a debate. But any being, anything at all that, could create all that is, even hypothetically, is beyond explanation for human understanding. Duh. How could you? How could one be? How could oneself? How could God, that which is God, explain and expressed that much more than humanity can ever understand? That's why I am. That's I am that I am. That's like, it's so much more to it too, because it's like the constants of God. It's like, it's not really, you know what? I'll leave that hypothetical there. Hypothetical. Again, I didn't create God. I've never met God directly. I can't speak on anything over anybody else or even over on any of that other than a hypothetical. There's, you know what? An hour and 6 minutes, I'm done. I'm just done. And there's my morning. Now to get some lunch. To summarize. Again, I keep trying to remember what the initial point was days ago versus what happened in this video, because this was unrehearsed and everything. I was good this morning. I actually watched the UFO aliens video I made, and it just lit me up because none of it was performance, and I understood everything I was expressing in it, even if others don't, because again, obviously I can understand everything I'm authentically expressing, watching it back, not being entertained by a performance or anything, but I don't watch these back again. I literally record. Sometimes I'll have it analyzed, and then I just upload them. I have self-recorded videos from 8 years ago, just going over my life on the fly like this. Prior to, well, I was still in hell. I was still in the abyss, so to speak. And I've never watched one of them. I just uploaded it for everybody and that was it. It is that it is. I wanted to say what I said it, and that's good enough. I don't care to hear it again, which I will be going back on those eventually. But it's like, I don't go back on my stuff, and this morning I did, and it invigorated me to make a video, and this was the topic I picked. But it's just not exactly the same point of view, angle of it that I initially intended when I had the questions generated. Honestly, back then, I think it was more along the lines of what it isn't that other people make it out to be. Like, again, like the defensive things I've said, like saying I'm not claiming to be God. I'm not God. Like, people will take that I am and they'll be, oh, you think you're God, this and that. And it's like, that's why I initially wanted to go with a few days ago when I had the questions articulated. Something like that, I think. All right, you know what? It is that it is. This is what it is. Let it speak for itself. You all have a wonderful day.